Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, September 10th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And also, if you trade Bitcoin, I will do a bonus analysis at the end. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, that candlestick right there will still be moving. That is because the market is open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, ticker symbol SINT. And we had quite the eventful day today. Big gap up. Price ran all the way up here, and I think that some poor souls were buying right there. Hopefully they had stop losses. If not, they're having a very bad day. But now we have a nasty pullback, but this is where you longer time viewers, you know what I'm going to say next. There can be opportunity in the ugly because, yeah, right now things are looking pretty ugly. Price is way up here, and there has been this big old pullback right here. Now, this is where we take a step back and look at things from the bigger picture point of view, because this is where it also gets a little tricky, because I do understand if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there, or maybe you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 7 minutes, then yeah, from that angle, the chart looks terrible. But from the bigger picture standpoint, part of that is going to say, well, yeah, that's true, Clay. The price has pulled back throughout the course of the day, but what was happening before this? And those people would say, well, there's this huge gap up, which is now actually giving me the ability to draw up a bull flag pattern. And on top of the bull flag pattern, even with this big ugly pullback, the price is now approaching some very interesting levels, namely that pink line right there, which on my chart denotes the very well known, the very famous 200 paired moving average. That still doesn't guarantee that the price is going to bounce, but to think that the price could find some support right down there around the $4 mark, that is certainly a valid thought to have. So if you like these sorts of ugly, opportunity type situations, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one, ticker symbol NIO, and talked about this one on Friday and mapped out that red line right there as resistance. And you can see this morning, after a very rough start, gap down, price came roaring back, broke above it right there, and then the rest is history. So very, very impressive day, again, especially when you factor in that this thing started off with that gap down. So I'll go ahead and get rid of that, and we'll map out some new levels. I'm just going to go ahead and adjust this area of support now. And I should note that if you're bullish, whenever levels of support need to be adjusted in the upwards direction, definitely always a good thing. So the new ideal level being what would make this chart look the absolute healthiest moving forward, that would be if the price can stay up above $5.30. With that being said, if the price falls below that level, that does not mean the entire chart's destroyed or ruined or anything like that. But yeah, if the price could stay above $5.30, that would be a great sign of power. Looking at things from the bigger picture point of view, that is where the purple line there comes into play. The 50-period simple moving average. Keyword being moving, so as time goes by, that line is going to move itself higher and higher and get more and more relevant. But from an overarching standpoint, as long as the price stays above that purple line, the bulls are in full health. In regards to levels of resistance, no need to overcomplicate this. Just ask yourself the very basic question, where did the party finally stop today? And that was right up there at that level, which sits at $5.62. You can see not once, but actually twice, price got up there and couldn't quite push through it. So right around there will be battleground number one, but all in all, very, very impressive start to the week. Next one here, PLTR, very impressive day here, big gap up, and this thing just continued to grind throughout the course of the day. So definitely some updates here need to be done. Although I am going to say that it's looking like this thing, in my opinion, is going to need a pullback, and that is based off of the pattern here that has formed today. So let me just get this pattern drawn into play. And I should note as I draw it, pullback does not mean crash, does not mean that this thing's going back, down into oblivion or anything like that. Let me change that to green to represent support. But this is a rising wedge pattern, which suggests a pullback is needed. Again, pullback, not a crash. I'm not saying this thing is going to drop all the way down here or anything like that. But with a pattern here, rising wedge is a bearish pattern, does suggest that some sort of pullback will be occurring. So if you do like to buy the dip, buy a pullback, and you're thinking, I don't know, should I buy now? Should I buy, see if it pulls back? The technical pattern is suggesting that there could very well be a pullback. But again, there's no guarantees. So maybe this thing just decides to kick the pattern in the face and make a huge explosion on Tuesday. That's possible too. But, probabilities based on the pattern here suggest a pullback is in store. Next one here, TNXP, and another one of these opportunity in the uglies because, yeah, this thing is certainly very, very ugly. Big gap up. To think poor souls were buying right there, as I mentioned earlier. Hopefully they were using the stop losses because then the price came down here quite a bit. And now as I speak, the price is right here at that purple line, which on my chart denotes the 50-period moving average valued at 0.163. And that brings about a valid question of, will the price find some support here? Now, there's no guarantee of that, but it at least is a valid question. It's a reasonable question because that's a reasonable level. Call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, but prices do tend to bounce off of that 50-period moving average. So that's why risk management matters, because it's not guaranteed to bounce off there. All I'm saying is it's not a crazy suggestion that maybe the price after this big old pullback is looking pretty ugly. Maybe this is where everybody kind of bails out and then the price all of a sudden decides to bounce back upward. So if you like penny stocks, if you like these sorts of opportunity in the uglies, so definitely keep an eye on it. Next one, NVDA, nice day today. And first update comes from a technical rule that states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So going into the day, that 104.75 mark was a resistance, but with the price now above it, you would want to see it act as support. And that's actually already happened a couple of times. You can see price got above it, and then right there acted as support, and actually acted as it a couple of times this morning. When it did fall, it got pretty nasty, but quick recovery, and then was able to stay above it. So moving forward, 104.75 remains that key technical level, but instead of it being a key resistance, now it would be a key level of support. In regards to levels of resistance, we have a trend line right there that the price is currently doing battle with. Market is open for another 11 minutes. So, yeah, plenty of time actually for this to maybe get a breakout. So if you happen to be watching this and you're thinking, wait, Clay, I'm watching this, price is up here. Well, that tells you that the breakout has already happened. So you get to ask yourself an even more exciting question. Is this breakout the start of something even bigger? But if you're watching and the price is still down below that red line, then the question shifts to not quite as exciting, because now we still got to see and ask the question, well, can it break out? So still a somewhat exciting question because the price is at least getting close. But regardless, any way you look at it, definitely keep an eye on that resistance trend line right there, and we'll see if it can get a breakout and continuation on Tuesday. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering later on this week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use to sign up. Or if you're watching at my website, there's an area right there on the webpage you can use to sign up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Next one here, ticker symbol BNRG, and have ourselves a nice pattern here. So let me just get this pattern drawn into play. So initial part of the pattern. There we go, right at that level. And then let me get the support. Actually, you know what? We'll use that moving average as a support level. So right here, we're going to just use this as basically the bottom part of the pattern. And then let me use yellow to make it all one color to hopefully make it easier to see. So we have our resistance. We have our support. We have the big move up right here. And then for you golfers out there, try to make it a little bit more visual. Put the golf hole down here. This would be a bull pennant pattern. So just because it's a bullish pattern, like earlier I mentioned on the rising wedge, just because something's a bearish pattern does not mean for sure guaranteed the price is going to go down. The flip side is also true. Just because there's a bullish pattern does not mean that for sure guaranteed the price is going to go up. But would it be shocking? Would it catch people off guard if all of a sudden this thing decided to get a breakout to the upside of the bull pennant? No, I don't think that would catch anybody off guard at all. So if you like this price range down below $2, you like bull pennants, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one, TSLA Tesla, and all things considered, good solid day, especially when you factor in that on Friday things were not looking good. Check out the last 30 minutes. I mean, that thing was collapsing, and I thought, all right, this thing is for sure going to go down and at least test 209.50, but I got that wrong because this morning this thing gapped up and never really returned anywhere close back to there. So nonetheless, that doesn't change anything. 209.50 does still remain a key area of support. The only thing that changes is that instead of only needing to move that little small distance right there to test it, now the price would need to move that whole distance right there. And you can see the difference between those. I hope you can see the differences between those two situations there. So yeah, good to see that the price now has created some space above that area of support, but nonetheless, 209.50 remains the key area of support. In terms of levels of resistance, all eyes now on that purple line right there, which has already started to prove to be a problem area. You can see back here it had acted as resistance. And then earlier today, I didn't hit it exactly, but hopefully we can all agree, got relatively in the same general area of it and then acted as resistance again. So right around 220.75, definitely the main battleground headed into Tuesday. But like I said, when you look at how things were closing and closed on Friday, and then you look at today's day, certainly a nice little recovery. Next one here, INBS. And yeah, another one of these, there can be opportunities in the ugly because, yes, this thing is definitely very, very ugly. And the opportunity point on this one, change that to green for support, is this gap close location. Because not only is it a gap close location right here, there's also that purple line right there, the 50 period moving average. So you kind of have a double whammy of support. Still doesn't mean that the price will for sure bounce off of it. But again, it just goes back to the talking point of, is it reasonable? Is there some plausible reasoning behind why it could bounce? And yeah, there absolutely is. So I don't want to waste your time by just repeating myself. But yeah, you get the idea. Strong start. Things are looking pretty ugly right now in the pullback. If you like to play these situations, you like this price range, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one, BLMZ. I like this pattern here quite a bit that is formed. And the main reason I like the pattern is just when you look at the lows. So check out what the lows have been doing. We had that low, and then we had that low. And then you look at today, you have those lows. And if you envision those as stair steps, you can see these stair steps are methodically creeping higher and higher. So that's always a good sign. And then there's a pretty well-defined, I'm not going to say it's blatantly obvious, but I would say a good, solid, well-defined area of resistance right around $2.37. If you go back to Friday too, you can see rejected the price, rejected, false breakout right there, but then came back down and rejecting it. And as I speak right now, you can see the price is seemingly going to close very close to that level. Market still got about 5 minutes before it closes, but you can, when you factor in and combine the two ideas of well-defined resistance, stair steps progressed in the upwards direction. So if you want to even, throw that into a pattern right now, and I'll just kind of crudely draw it, but you can even argue for a nice little wedge pattern, ascending triangle, whatever you want to call it. But the psychology is the same. The price is working its way upwards. There's a well-defined resistance, but if that resistance can be broken, does that generate more momentum? We'll see what happens. Next one here, TQQQ, and good solid day on this one, especially when it was looking like on Friday that this level down here at 56.67-ish had a very real threat of being broken. I mean, late Friday did do a good job of solidifying it, got the big gap up, pulled back, and then returned back upwards. But that's where that first key update comes into play now, which I've already talked about. When levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. And it did a beautiful job of acting as support both there and there. And moving forward, that'll be the ideal level. I mean, if you say, Clay, what make this chart look now the healthiest? Definitely if the price can stay above 57.90. Because if the price were to come back down here and then drop down below it, what is that doing to the price? Well, that's literally putting the price right back inside of that range where it just was. And I mean, not to insult your intelligence, but price movements with genuine power are not going to make a nice move and then go right back to where they were. Again, I'm not saying that's what's going to occur, but that is why that 57.90 mark is a very, very important level. In terms of levels of resistance, key battleground area to watch moving forward going to be right there around 59.40. With that being said, even if the price does break above there, I wouldn't get overly excited about it because not that far away, you do have the 50 period moving average looming overhead. But regardless, any sort of break of 59.40 would still be a step in the right direction. It would be a good thing. I'm just saying don't get too excited about it. But how things looked on Friday compared to how things look today, yeah, there's still work that needs to be done, but it's certainly not looking nearly as bad. I will get to Bitcoin here in just a second, but for you stock traders, again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about the tool, how it can and should be used, then certainly get signed up for the free webinar later this week. It'll be Thursday, September 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And again, it is a genuine live event, and I say that because if you have questions, please bring them because there will be a Q&A session, and I'd be happy to answer them live for you. All right, now let's talk some Bitcoin. One quick clarification here. I am now on the 4-hour time frame, so each one of these candlesticks here represents 4 hours instead of 30 minutes, and that's because Bitcoin is open 24/7. So in order for this video to remain relevant for as long as possible in this analysis, I want to just look at a longer time frame and walk through some questions. But as I speak right now, check out this 4-hour time frame. Very, very impressive. It's not only broken up through this red line resistance right here, it's actually now up above the purple line there, the 50 period moving average. So this 4-hour period right now has really changed the story quite a bit. Now, if you watch a video from over the weekend, you know that that was a key level of support I talked about. I mean, not to pat myself on the back, but definitely patting charts on the back because they're a great tool to learn. So I'll turn that into a quick plug. Go get signed up for that webinar. But check it out. I had that green line there. If you don't believe me, I'm not offended. Just go back, watch previous videos. Talked about that level, and you can see it's done a fantastic job of holding strong. But moving forward now, so let's just assume you're watching this video 20 hours from now. Question number one you need to ask yourself is, where's the price at relative to 55,700? As long as you're answering the question that the price is above there, then that is a good thing. Because even if the price comes down here and is doing something like that, at least you still have those higher lows. That would still imply that you have a low there, and then these lows right there. And as already discussed, higher lows, if you envision those as stair steps, assuming you're bullish, that is a good thing. So I'll also change that to a level of support now. So 55,700. Again, any answers above there, that is a good thing. If you do find yourself saying, well, actually, Clay, the price is down below there, next immediate question becomes, okay, well, where's the price at relative to that level at 52,600? If somehow you're answering the question that the price is down below there, and I highly doubt you will be, well, that would just be telling you that the bears have stepped back up in a big way and completely smashed this move to not only bring it all the way back down there, and then, even further down. Now, if you're saying, well, actually, Clay, the price is down below there, but it is up above here, well, then at that point, it's just some sort of consolidation, and the chart shifts back into being neutral, which would not be the greatest thing, but again, it wouldn't also be a train wreck. Train wreck is any sort of, movement down below that level right there. But all in all, very, very impressive 4-hour period right here. We'll see if the price builds on the momentum. And as I invited the stock traders, I'm inviting you as a Bitcoin and crypto trader to definitely get signed up for the free training here, because what you're learning about can and certainly should be used within the world of Bitcoin and crypto. So go get signed up. Like I said, it'll be later this week, Thursday, September 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. So if you enjoy these videos, hit that like button, leave a comment below, tell me your watch list for tomorrow. I appreciate it, and go get signed up for that free training.